internet? Welcome back to another episode 5. We never thought we would make it this far, but here we are, of Shaggin Balls, a baseball fan discussion. We have 2 fans from the American League. We have 2 fans of the winningest franchises in baseball with the Yankees and the Cardinals. But then to balance that out, we put a Mariner fan and a Padre fan in there, so we can so it's not tipping the scales too much, so we can talk about how it feels to struggle. But that's exactly what we are. We are fans of our teams, and we're fans of the game overall. Obviously, we're all missing the game right now, and we wish that the owners and the players can come to an agreement at some point for the 2020 season, and hopefully not have any bad blood towards anybody, so it doesn't affect any other further seasons going forward. But the players will fight for what they think they should deserve, and all we can do is sit and wait and see what will happen. Obviously, it was a little disappointing at the beginning of last episode. I talked about how the commissioner said 100% there would be a season, and then the news came out today that he said, "Oh, I'm not sure if there will be a season this year," and it's very, very frustrating to be a baseball fan right now. But that's not what we're going to cover and highlight, because there's plenty of that going around the baseball world. We're here to come up with some fun topics that we think there's some interesting discussion around, and that we enjoy researching and just shooting the crap here with each other. And hopefully you guys enjoy listening. If you would like to email the podcast and break the streak of 5 episodes without an email, you can do that at shagginballspodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow on Twitter at shagginballspc, and you can at Kasey, because he runs the account. Maybe Jrob will see it as well. Maybe I will also. But you can hit him up with some M's trivia and see if you
give me a go M's out there if you want.
Yeah, you can give him a go M's. His close circle is not giving it to him because he's asked one too many times. But you can also come watch the show live on Monday nights. Right now we're recording at 9 p.m. PST, a little bit later than that. But that's usually when we've done it, is Monday night recordings, and that's live on Twitch at Shaggin Balls. So you can come follow us there and interact with us. We don't really talk too much with the chat while it's going, but after, in the post-show, pre-show, we're more than happy to discuss things with you about baseball. And then the last thing that we are, I guess last 2, we're also on Spotify right now with some other various podcasting platforms out there, and we are also on YouTube, where you can watch the replay of our recordings, and you can see our pack opening there, which for our audio listeners, the next thing that we're going to go to is our pack openings, but audio portion will be put at the end of the podcast, so you don't have to listen to that. But if you do, you can right after this episode wraps, but we recommend watching it, the video form, to see a lot of our reactions while we show off the cards, because it's a good time. And without further ado, we'll go into I forgot about the co-hosts who are joining me today. As always,
you forgot about us already.
It's the 4. Well, I talked about you guys in your fandom. It's the 4 talking idiots. You got me. I'm Jake, your co-host. We have Kasey, who is your resident M's fan. He's gonna ask for go M's. Yep, there you go. And we have Pete, your Yankee.
What's up?
And we got the National League Central St. Louis fan himself, Jrob. Now we're all here. We're all here together, and we are going to do what we always love to do. Once we finish opening a pack, we're always talking about how much we just want to open up the next pack. Kasey, did you open up another pack?
I opened up my one I bought a while back.
So Kasey did open up another pack. He couldn't resist. But we all have the same packs as we did the time in the last episode.
Already.
They are the opening day 2020 Pops packs. There's 7 cards in the packs. There's a chance to get 7 players. Most of us got 6 last time. We'll go in a typical snake order draft. Like
some of us got 2 last time.
Yeah.
All right, complainers.
But the main rule is, if someone's already pulled that player, they have the rights to that player. If someone else pulls a Clayton Kershaw second, like Pete did, then he can't use Clayton Kershaw because Kasey pulled him first. So the order today, we're just going to go in sequence. It's going to be me, Kasey, Jrob Pete.
Pete. No.
Or Pete
Jrob.
Pete Jrob. And then person at the end will pull 2. So Pete will pull 2, and then it'll kind of snake back towards us. So I'll kick it off for us.
Will pull 2, but yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. All right. Here we go. Right off the top, we've got. Oh, Suarez from the third baseman from the Reds. Over 40 home runs last year. That is a solid pull to start it off.
Suarez? Are you serious?
Yep.
Oh my hell! I need a shortstop. All right.
Don't pretend like you know who he is.
I do know who that is. He kicks your ass.
He's a
So
third baseman. He's a third baseman.
Bleached his hair.
you know what? Pete, shut the hell up. You buy your players.
All right, pull your card.
All right.
Pull your card.
All right. So here, this is why with me. Ready? Who do we have?
Opening.
Oh, Rendon.
That's solid.
I don't
hell?
need a
Yeah,
third
one up
baseman
my
though.
third baseman. Oh, I'm pissed about that. I want that. Is he in a freaking what jersey is
right.
he wearing?
I've got
Angels.
Nationals. Oh, Angels.
Abraham Toro, third baseman for the
have him.
Astros.
Already have him.
That's some shit.
Let me,
And just like
let me make sure.
normal programming,
Order
case
from it.
Pete gets blocked again.
Well, I swear that name sounds so familiar.
I'm gonna have a 7-man team when we try
Yeah,
this
Abraham
season.
Toro. Got him right here.
Perfect.
Pete gets cooked
That's what I
again.
needed.
Yeah,
That's what I
know my
needed.
team. Are you boys ready? My turn? Yep, let's
yep.
go. Come on now. Oh, this feels good. Yep, that's what I love. Off the top, just freshly opened. Okay, that didn't come out. It's supposed to come out when I did that, but there we go. It's caught.
Performance issues. He knows what those are.
Okay. I'm ignoring that. I have Hunter Renfroe.
Renfroe.
R-E-N.
Renfroe?
Yep, from
What
Tampa
the
Bay.
fuck kind of baseball fan are you? You've never heard of him.
Thank you, Pete.
I
I
don't
appreciate
know how to
that.
pronounce his last name.
Good God.
Yeah, he
So,
should
now
hit
going
over 30
again.
home runs.
He hit 33 last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
26
freaking
years
good
before
ball
in the
player. You shouldn't even get him on your team because you don't know
Ready?
shit
Here we go.
about
Here
baseball.
we go. Ooh, I see. Oh shit. Sorry. Pardon my English for little ears.
Sorry, we're explicit.
Baltimore player.
Oh yeah.
Don Haynes. What a great pitcher. Let's see.
He was the
Let me-
All-Star representative from last year.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not terrible. 121 strikeouts, 38 walks. His ERA 3.6. Oh my gosh. Guess what his ERA was in 2018? He looks like he's probably a reliever, but oh yeah, one game, 13.5.
You one game.
Damn.
You're gonna judge
Okay,
him
my
on
next
that?
guy, I'm like 90% sure someone already has him too.
Nope.
Fernando
It's
Tatis.
yours. I had him. I had him in a
Oh, I
pack
got a
that didn't
top
count.
tease.
Oh, woo, finally, we're adding back to the roster, baby.
That's
what I like.
I am very jealous.
All right, my next pick is
Bryce Harper,
Jake.
straight up.
Jake, you might want this one. I got a
If it's Hosmer, I don't care.
Chris
Oh
Paddock.
my gosh. I got him in another pack before. Oh my word. You guys just took like your best pods. All right, me. I got back to back. Suarez. 2. Dang it!
What did he get?
Rendon.
Jake, your screen is not loaded for me for some reason. Oh.
I pulled
Rendon,
Rendon.
baby.
Got
How's it
absolutely
feel, Jake?
blocked.
How's it
sucks
feel?
Because it's a spoiler for later on, but we'll get into why, and I'm really upset. So I got blocked with Rendon, and now I've got Brian Reynolds, Pirate outfielder. He had a good cup of coffee. So this Rendon.
We go
see
from
your
Paddock to pull him from here. Whit Merrifield. Does someone already have Whit?
Yeah, I think Jordan
I do.
J-Rob does.
All right, I have Reese Hoskins. Nobody pulled him yet, right?
No,
I think I do.
I don't think so.
I have Whit, Casey.
I think I have.
Damn you,
Reese.
Whit.
Oh no, I think that was
You
in
think
another
you-
pack. You're good.
Okay, perfect. Got some power in the lineup. I think I
Yeah, you're
need
good.
a first baseman, so I'll take
My turn.
that. Yep.
Here we go.
Is that a Cub?
I got a Mariner. No.
Oh.
Marco Gonzalez.
I got him.
Yeah, here he has him.
Good.
Toss him. Toss him.
Into the wall. Here you go. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. I'll take this all day. Let's go, Lou. Dakota Hudson, baby. Come on. He's got this kid. Yeah, this kid's a stud. Let me read some stats. What do you want? You want walks? He led the league in walks last year. 86 bitches.
We're moving on. We're moving on. I got decent pitcher, Charlie Morton.
Oh, really good pitcher. Holy crap.
Yeah.
He's having a
Like
great
that.
pack.
We're not mad about this.
All right, my next pull.
Definitely better than any Cardinals pitcher.
Ah, damn it! I got Javi, and it already has Javi.
Ah, suck it, you son of a bitch!
Oh, I'm so happy you blocked Rendon for me.
That's some horse shit. I hate that.
Yeah, deal with it, motherfucker. Welcome to my life, boys.
Jorge Polanco. Another pirate.
I think I have him.
Okay, go ahead and check that. We'll go to the next player.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that.
Victor Robles. Great defensive outfielder. We'll see how he does offensively this year.
No, Jake, you're good with there.
Yeah.
My next pull is Austin Meadows. I know Jrob. Don't you have Meadows?
He called him Mendoza, though.
Yeah, that's what it was.
You get him.
That's how I know it.
Damn it!
God damn.
That's
J-Rob.
right. That's how I know I got him.
Every
Mendoza,
episode,
that's
Peter
what it
gets
is.
cut,
Jesus
and
Christ.
every episode, you mess up somebody's
J-Rob
last
doesn't know
name.
shit about baseball players. Alright, perfect. I got Eddie Rosario,
Oh, that's good. Bat.
outfielder for the Twins.
Yeah. He hits some pop. He hits a lot of ribbies too. I think with like fifth in that lineup or something.
Oh yeah, he had 109 last year.
Yeah.
And 32 bombs.
He's solid.
That is not bad. That is not bad at all. I'm turning into a really solid outfield. Led by Christian Yelich, in case you bitches forgot.
Okay, watch your mouth. Here we go. My card, my pull. Matt Chapman.
That's a great
Oh, you got
pull.
Matt
Holy
Chapman?
crap! We
That's
pulled
a
some
really good
studs
pull.
in
Yeah.
third base today.
Yeah, no, that's good. Sure. My boy. Had him in fantasy a couple years ago. Traded his ass. Worst move ever. Anyways, my second pull. Jose Ramirez.
Dang!
Cleveland.
Damn.
Another good third baseman.
That's not bad.
Well, I'm gonna be fine at third base. Come on.
Looks like you might be trading. I might need Chapman.
Seriously.
Alrighty.
Rendon got
I
blocked.
got Marcus Simeon.
Oh, a great
Oh,
shortstop.
that's a good pull too.
Athletics.
He was like top
Damn
3 in
it.
MVP last year.
Wait, who?
You got Simeon.
Marcus Simeon.
Oh.
All right, my next pull
Not
is
bad at all.
oh boys. It's game over for y'all. Guess.
Mike Trout.
No, the Giants cable car.
I was saying to cuss you out. Oh,
All the
my
season.
hell.
Call it. MLB's got Corona. We got freaking the cable car. Call it.
I think it's Scott Kingery. Yeah, Scott Kingery. And I got some some players. And then I got. Please hold.
This card.
The hell just happened?
Please hold.
Here, I'll play some hold music.
Never mind. I couldn't find it in the trash because I got it before. But it's Bernie Brewer, the mascot. I have 2 of them though.
Yeah, way to go.
But that means that
Just
it
gonna
makes
add
one
some
Kristen Yelich, I
pop to
think.
your lineup. Well, you still don't have them because I already have them. So
It's like a Suarez.
All right, is you Jake Hardy?
Yeah, I'm out.
yeah.
All right, my last pull is. You gotta be shitting me. Suarez? Oh my hell.
Hey, I'll give you Suarez if you give me Rendon.
No.
Okay, then shut up.
Well, not a bad trade.
We're
All right.
complaining.
My
got
last
cooked.
card is let's go! Opening day in Texas.
Wrong stadium.
That's interesting. That's the last opening day in that stadium. They have a new ballpark, but nobody knows that because there's no baseball.
Yep.
All right, my last card. Already pulled it. Sneak peek. Minnesota Twins opening day. Mine's better than Texas, so better than Pete again.
A lot of pop in that lineup. First time you've ever had anything better than me in your life.
Ready for this? Ooh.
Oh, almost. All right, and that concludes the pack opening for this episode. Some heavy hitters were pulled. A lot of third baseman heavy. A lot of good third baseman. There was some good cucking going on. People not being able to play certain players.
Finally, not me.
There was like no
Which we
pitchers
love
outside
to
of like
see.
Dakota Hudson, really. I feel
You're
like.
reading Chris Paddock.
Oh, Chris Paddock. Yeah, I forgot. Oh, and Tatis got pulled.
I've never heard of
So my
her.
favorite Padres just got pulled out. Now I can't get them. That kind of sucks. But we're moving on. Now we're going to discuss what all of our favorite hats are.
Jrob, did you ever make up the rules for this?
No.
What a lazy piece of shit. All right, go
Well,
ahead.
we're having baseball anyway, so it doesn't really
Yeah,
matter
it
at this
doesn't
point.
matter now. But yeah, we're gonna talk about hats. What our favorite hats were. Last episode we talked about some of our favorite jerseys, but now we're gonna talk about the other piece of the uniform that is very popular, and that's the hat. As we can see, Kasey's rocking an M's hat. He's worn a different M's hat for like three episodes, I think. And actually, we'll go to Kasey first this time. Kasey, you want to talk to us about your favorite hats that are not M's hats?
Yes, I would. So kind of going on last week, I love that teal hat for the Diamondbacks. That A with like the maroon red, that teal outline. Super clean, super dope. You don't see it often. The Rockies black hat with a purple bill. I like that a lot. Not really a big fan of their all purple, but the purple bill is clean. And for some odd reason, I do like that Mets hat. The like royal blue with the orange highlights. I think that's a pretty dope hat. I own that hat, honestly. I rock it every once in a while. Freaking no.
You.
Didn't you say you like some of the Rockies jerseys?
Yeah, I like the all purple one.
Okay. Big fan of the Rocky schemes then.
I do.
Some good hats. Pete, how about you? What are some of your favorite hats?
All right, so as I talked about last week, I love the Pirates old school hat that goes along with their old school uniform. Those are just great to me. Actually, though, one of my favorite hats is from a god-awful team. Not quite as bad as Kasey's team, but a god-awful team.
Watch yourself.
But the Florida Marlins teal hat with the actual Marlin with the F, I love that hat.
That's a good one.
That's a classic hat. Shit team, besides their 2 World Series runs, which Kasey will never see. But just a gorgeous hat. That's one of my favorite hats that I've
Wait,
ever
hold on.
seen.
Is this show Let's Shit on the M's fan week? Is this my week to get roasted?
Yeah, did you
We're
not
doing
see
a lot
that
of
in
that.
group chat?
You did? Yeah, you didn't hear.
Yeah, didn't
no,
you see the lineup?
I must have missed the memo.
Must have just been like your M's can't see the strike right down the middle of the plate striking out.
Whoa. Hey, you watch yourself, mister. I can't buy wins like
alright,
you.
boys.
Nice. Yeah, I
Hey,
like
Pete,
that.
hey, Pete, can you give me those signs that you're still over there? I want them back.
Oh my gosh, we're moving
I
on from that.
cannot
We're not
back.
even gonna address that. Yeah,
Jake, you would go to me.
We can go to you. I like that Marlins call though. I really like that logo a lot. I want to know what you guys just how you guys feel about the new Marlins schemes and stuff. Just like super brief, like one sentence, how you guys feel about their latest change.
I like them.
You don't like them, or you do?
Actually,
I do.
You do.
I like
I
them
like
a lot
them,
too,
yeah.
especially like the orange stuff. The orange looks are nice.
Wait, they don't have orange
Well,
anymore.
I think you.
It's like a chili red and like blue.
orange look.
They're like black. They're like majority black now. Anyways, cool. Go ahead, Jrob.
Okay, so I picked 2 hats. One of them, I think, Kasey, you said, wasn't completely paying attention to what you said. Sorry, you're not like Pete. He's just irrelevant, so I just automatically tune out what Pete says. I just apologize for not listening. But so mine, one of them, I don't think you said this, but the Toronto Blue Jays, actually like the practice caps or like the spring training ones, how they did with all the hats, like they kind of put 2 logos together. The Toronto Blue Jays, I like just theirs, like the leaf or whatever, and then like the Blue Jay, like in it or like coming out of the side of it or something or whatever. I thought that was really cool and just clean. Even though I'm not a huge fan of Canada, I actually do like the Blue Jays a lot. Best team in that division. As well as I really like the Rockies as well. The black with the purple. Then going back to the same thing, I think I also mentioned like Rockies uniforms last week or whatever, or like commented on that with Kasey when he said it. But purple's my favorite color. I love seeing it on the jersey or whatever. It's just super clean. And then with the hat as well, I think he's way dope.
Nice. Yeah, I like the Blue Jays look as well. I like the leaf looks really cool, and I like their new adjustment just to their on-field caps a lot too. But yeah, I like those calls. For me, some of like the things that have always stuck out to me are like the caps that are pretty conservative, but they have like the single letter. So like last week I wore a Cleveland hat. I really liked just the simple C on that. I like the A's hat, how it's a simple A. And another one that I really enjoy is just the normal Pittsburgh Pirate hat. So I actually own each one of those hats, and when you lay them out, they spell cap. But those are some of my favorites as well. Just like a simple, just like one letter. One like you think like I would like the Detroit one, but that like the D I feel like is like kind of too small almost. But I respect it because like they've kept that style for a very, very long time. But yeah, I kind of like the black or the really dark navy blue when it comes to like hats because they kind of they go really well with a lot of just different outfits and stuff. It's not like a red that can clash and whatnot.
Jrob actually really likes that Detroit hat because he knows exactly what it's like to have a small D.
I know exactly what it's like to have a small what?
Peter, come on. Hey, Peter, come on. It's the Brooklyn way. Let's go, Peter.
My joke was too funny. I couldn't even get it out. That's fine. The internet knows. The internet knows where I was going.
Okay, nice. So quick and easy. Is there any other hats anybody wanted to mention before we move on?
I do like the Orioles hats, like the old Orioles hats, like the actual bird. Those are pretty clean.
Yeah.
That's a good
I was
call.
actually thinking about them too.
All right, sick. I'm glad no one said the Dodgers.
I think any of us here like the Dodgers.
I appreciate that. That's why you guys we all do this together.
That's why we're all here. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to the meat of the discussion. I don't think I said it in the intro, but the meat of the discussion is going to be, or maybe I did, is going to be about AL MVPs, and more specifically, the AL MVP runner-up. Because we all know it's going to be Mike Trout, or everyone's going to be compared to Mike Trout. So we've all come up with two players. One is like a primary AL MVP candidate that we think might put together a good season that will challenge Trout for the AL MVP, and then more of a dark horse person. So more things maybe have to go their way in order to really make a leap into it, or something that might be fun. Like it is like, if you look at it, people who have beat out Mike Trout have been like put together some amazing seasons. Like their career years have to be what they put forth in order to take the MVP crown from Trout, like Miguel Cabrera getting the triple crown in offense to be able to win the MVP that year. Donaldson having his best year of his career, and so forth. But I think to lead off this discussion, we'll go in the reverse order. So we'll start with Jrob instead of myself. I can go last again, but we'll start with Jrob and listen to who his primary AL MVP candidate is. Yeah.
Thanks. All right. So mine. So I just ran down some numbers and then I skipped over. But so mine right here, I'm gonna actually go. I think Pete pulled this player today. Marcus Simeon. Is that how you say his name?
Simeon.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Great. Love him. But last year he finished third in the voting or whatever. So he was behind. Mike Trout was number one. Bregman was number two. Then Marcus Simeon. And I don't know. I think he's really good. I think Oakland, honestly, obviously, with the MVP, I mean, in any sport, you're it's going to be a guy who wins typically 9 times out of 10. You have to pretty much be on a winning team, and I think the A's are like trending in the right direction, so it's only going to help his case. I don't think, even if Alex Bregman or any Houston players does phenomenal, I don't think they win MVP pretty much no matter what because of what's happening, which is biased, but
Could be right. Some voters might hold that against them.
Yeah. So, I mean, with that would be like limit number 2. But he had the second best behind Bregman with 8.9. He played all 162 games, had the most at bats. He had the most runs out of the top 3 at 123 with the most hits out of 187. 33 bombs, which was the least. 92 RBIs, which was the least. I mean, he's a good player. He obviously still has power with 33 home runs. He scores a ton, 123. That's a lot. I mean, Bregman is only one behind him at 122. But anytime you get over 100 runs, obviously you're getting on the base path, which is like a big thing. Obviously, is what all good players do. But I don't know. I just see him having another really good year, and I think he would put up a really good fight against Mike Trout. Obviously, again, like you said, Jake, it's pretty much Mike Trout's to lose, but I think Marcus would be really good. He would do super well again this year, and then would put up a good fight against him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing I like about Marcus a lot over Bregman and some other candidates out there, any first baseman or corner outfielders, is that he plays that premium defensive position and he excels at it. I think that helps his case a lot.
Both sides, yeah.
Yeah. I like that one a lot. I mean, it shows he came on strong, and if he takes just another little step forward and really puts out maybe his best year, his career year, he could do it. I could see that for sure. There's a few people on the A's that I could see doing it.
Matt Chapman was number 6 on the list too.
Chapman's really good. Maybe Olsen has a year where he hits 50 home runs or something as well. They have a lot of fun players on that team.
50 home runs in a 50-game season would be very impressive.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about the 50-game season when I said that. Pete, who's your guy?
First off, I got shut up. Sorry.
I'm sorry, what the hell is going on?
He saw the Yankees got caught cheating.
Go to Kasey. Come back to me.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on to Kasey. Kasey, you ready to give us who your guy is?
Yeah, I'm ready. All right, so my guy is Francisco Lindor. And the reason being is because the Indians are a mediocre team. No disrespect to the Indians at all. I think they're a fun club to watch. But Lindor just plays the game. And especially a position that isn't known for a lot of power hitting. He hits a lot of hits for a lot of power. I mean, last year he had a batting average of 284, a slugging of 518. He hit 40 doubles, 32 home runs, and 170 hits. On top of that, he's won Gold Gloves in 2016 and 2019. So he's an overall very sound player. I actually found his fielding percentage, and it's a 9.79, or 0.979, so almost 1,000. So to me, he's a valuable player. I think the best player on that Indians team, and he's definitely a top 5 player in the MLB right now. So in a down year, if Trout wasn't having a great season, I would almost bet Francisco Lindor is in the mix for top 2, just for the Indians finishing second or third. He's always keeping the Indians in contention for a playoff spot, and even then in 2016, I feel like he really, in my sense, carried the Indians to the World Series. So that's my pick, Mr. Smiles, Francisco Lindor.
That's a good one. Again, I like it that it's a shortstop. And you're totally right about the defensive side. He's one of the best, if not the best defender. And that's what he was kind of known for as he was coming up through the system. And I think there's questions about his bat, but he's just come up and really performed super, super, super well as a switch hitter and produced with his size and his build. It's very surprising. You don't see many people being able to produce what he does offensively. Yeah, that's a great choice. And I think if Jose Ramirez clicks like he did in 18, or shows more of what he did in the second half, that's one of the best like 1-2 punches in the American League for sure. I don't know if Peter is ready. Peter, are you ready to give your guy? I'm gonna go with no for now because he's muted and I don't see him. So I'll give my guy. My suggestion is Anthony Rendon, which is why I was a little salty that Kasey got him and then I pulled him the next pick later. And one second, we're off a little bit here, so things are getting a little jumbled up on the video side, but for you audio listeners, it doesn't matter, so I'll keep rolling. So I'm going to dive into a little bit more of the StatCast numbers. So a little bit of the new wage numbers that we can take from and really show some stuff that we weren't able to show before in the past, where in the past a lot of what we have was just kind of the counting numbers where it's just purely average, purely home runs, RBIs, and then that's what qualified for a great hitter. We came out with like slugging percentage later on, but so I'm going to talk about some stuff that maybe some of you have heard, maybe most of you haven't heard, and I'll try to like cover why I think Anthony Rendon is such a great hitter. But I'm going to be comparing Rendon to Trout directly offensively. And then I'm going to kind of go over each stat. So it's going to be a little bit of a learning segment, I guess. But to compare both of them, the first stat, all of this is going to be based off of the percentile they're in. So if they're 98 and above percentile, that means they're in the top 2% of the league in that stat category. And then the flip. So if it's 10 percentile, then they're one of the worst at that category. So the first thing is exit velocity. Exit velocity, Trout is in the 80th percentile and Rendon is in the 75th percentile. So Trout wins there. The next stat cast is expected batting average. So it weighs expecting batting average. It weighs what the hitter does it takes in factors in like exit velocity, launch angle, and I think those are like kind of like the main things. And then it gives you a number based off of what you're outputting because it can compare it to, okay, this line drive in the outfield at this launch angle at this velocity, 7 out of 10 times, that's a hit. So that's like a 700 expected batting average. Now you can line out straight to an outfielder and it would count against them on just a typical batting average. So expected batting average kind of shows what is actually really happening rather than like just result based, which is what like kind of batting average and all the counting numbers are. It's more result based. So it's kind of telling more of a story, but Trout is at in the 98th percentile and Rendon is in the 99th percentile. So Rendon wins there. The next category is K percentage. So how often they strike out. This is where Trout kind of dips a little bit. He's in the 62nd percentile. Rendon's in the 91st percentile. So now Rendon's up 2-1 versus Trout in StatCast numbers. The next thing is hard hit percentage. So hard hit, I forget what the velocity is. It's somewhere in the 90 plus range for exit velocity once they hit off the bat. Trout is in the 81st percentile and Rendon is in the 88th. So Rendon wins there again. So now he's up 3-1 against Trout. The next one is expected slugging. So expected slugging is a lot like slugging is and a lot like what batting average is. It weighs exit velocity and launch angle and like where the ball goes. And then they predict what likelihood it would be, what type of hit result it would turn out to be. So a single is like the lowest is like your one. And then a double is worth double what a single's worth in slugging percentage. A triple's worth 3 times as much as a single is worth towards slugging percentage. And a home run is 4 times better than a home run. So the higher slugging percentage, the bigger, more extra base hits, the more run production there is behind it. Trout, he's the top guy. He's in the 100th percentile. He's the top dude there. Rendon is 98. So he's right there along with them. But now it's 3-2, still Rendon. The next thing is whiff percentage, so how much they swing and miss. Trout is is in the 82nd percentile, and Rendon is in the 98th percentile, which leads to why he also was ahead in K percentage. Just one of the elite bats. He doesn't, I think overall his whiff percentage is like 12.9%, which is just incredible. And then the next stat is a little bit more of a doozy. I know I've been ranting a little bit, but I think this might be interesting for some people. I wish I was better at explaining it. But this one is XWOBA. So what that is expected weighted on base average. So expected weighted on base average is formulated by using exit velocity and launch angle and on certain types of batted balls, and then also calculates in the hitter's sprint speed. So how fast they are, like it'll take into account how often they're like topping balls. And like if you hit a dribbler down third base, guess what? Pujols isn't going to beat that. Like he's not going to get infield hits. Somebody like Mike Trout would get infield hits, for example. So it weighs just like your batting average and then how often you're walking and stuff like that. So with that, it also takes into account like doubles are worth more and stuff. So it's not like a 1-to-1. So like a walk counts as like 0.69, where a home run counts as like 2.1. So it shows you like how much better a home run is versus like just a standard walk. Like walks count towards your on base percentage for this stat, but it's not like, it's like the lowest tier, where on base percentage is just like, it doesn't care if you hit a home run or you get a walk, they count it as the same thing. This just shows more of elite players. Trout, he's number one. He's at 100 percentile again. Not really that much of a surprise. Rendon, 98, right there with him. So now it's 4-3. Yeah, it's 4-3 now in Rendon's favor. Barrel percentage is the next thing. Pretty straightforward. It's pretty much like this real sweet spot on a bat where a lot of hard contact is made. Trout wins here at the 98th percentile over Rendon, who is in the 83rd percentile. And then Trout wins in sprint speed. It's not really hitting, but it is an offensive tool that matters. And Trout blows Rendon out of the water on that one. But overall, I thought this painted a pretty good picture as to why Rendon is like a truly elite hitter. And I think that kind of speaks for himself as a potential candidate to win the MVP. And he has a great goatee. So there you go. Sorry, I was a little bit long there.
No, I love it. I love how you compared, like just how you compared him straight to Mike Trout and just like by category and everything, because it really shows, I think, just like how close it really is. I mean, obviously Mike Trout, in my opinion at least, maybe it's not obvious, but is the best player in the majors right now. But like when it comes down to the numbers and everything, sometimes it's harder to tell, or there's not always that big of a difference. Or just because he's the best player in the league doesn't mean that he's going to be the best in every single category. Obviously, he has weaknesses, but I don't know. I like what you did there.
Cool. Thanks. Moving on, unless you guys, yeah, we're gonna talk about these. Oh, Pete, you're up, man. Hit us with your.
Perfect.
And then we'll judge you for it.
Yeah, perfect. So, in my totally unbiased opinion, the AL MVP this year is going to be Aaron James Judge from the greatest organization in baseball history, the New York Yankees. Haven't been wrong once in my entire life, so sucks to be you. For more ways than one.
Hey, what did happen to Giambi in Sheffield and A-Rod? Oh wait, they took steroids. You're wrong again because they cheated and the Yankees cheat.
Got him.
Okay.
Kasey thought he was getting roasted hard enough, so he's trying to flip the tide now on the Yankees for some reason.
It would be cool if I cared about any of your opinions at all, but because you don't obviously know anything about baseball, you guys' opinions kind of don't mean shit. But yeah,
I didn't know
James
Judge.
It's, I'm trying to talk here, boys. Rude to keep interrupting. Yeah, Aaron James Judge, New York Yankees, outfielder. His only fully healthy season, finished second as a rookie in the AL MVP vote to a known cheater from the Houston Astros. So, And so this year, just with a more condensed season, hopefully, that we end up getting, I think, he has a better chance of staying healthy. And, the year that he was healthy, he led the AL in homers and runs created, had a pretty good, decent average, especially for a power hitter, multiple stolen bases. So I think this year, with him being able to hopefully stay healthy over the shortened season, there's a great chance. He also had the most walks in his healthy season in 2017. And like I said, won the Rookie of the Year and second MVP voting. So I feel like this year, Yankees obviously are going to be a great team. No cheating needed. Mariners are going to suck. Cardinals will be lucky to squeak into the playoffs, just like always.
Okay.
But, so, leading the best team, being the best hitter, probably leading the league in homers this year, has a great shot at winning the MVP. He's also, for, people that might have a little bit of a gambling problem, like a certain someone on this program, his odds right now are he has the second odds after Mike Trout.
Well, okay.
2 in the AL MVP betting odds, so he's also predicted by a lot of by Vegas and to win if it doesn't go to Mike Trout, he's got the second best odds.
How many steals did he have?
How many steals did he have that year?
Yeah, you said
only 9, but
for his size, that's good.
Pretty decent for being that big.
Real quick,
because people don't steal anymore, unfortunately. But
while Pete was talking, just some quick notes. So keywords. I wrote down while Pete was talking. Only year he was healthy. That's more of a phrase, but that's only year he's healthy. That's something important to remember. And then also later,
counting words.
I only use this word twice, actually, at least twice. Hopefully. And again, hopefully he said it again when describing Judge's chance of winning. He also said something that was very comical, which he continued to do during this broadcast. Leading the league in home runs. And then in parentheses behind that, I put LOL. Just a quick little comment on that. It feels like this is more of your dark horse because it's more of like hoping everything goes right, not based on facts or anything like that, or you're taking facts from 3 years ago. So I mean, I don't know, just throwing it out. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way. Or
I want Stanton to win it if I have to pick a Yankee player. I just want to see him pop off again.
That'd be impressive.
It's been a while.
You guys are all screwed if both of them are going at the same time.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You're going to be screwed if both of them aren't healthy, so.
Hey, I tell you what, at least I know how to pronounce the name of the guy I picked for MVP. I'm like a certain baseball fan that knows 3 players from the Cardinals and not a single other person in the league.
Hey, Pete, read a sweatshirt.
Learn how to read.
What's it say?
To be a baseball fan.
Fuck Jrob. It's the Cardinals way.
For our listeners, it says spread love.
Yeah. It does say spread love. I think. How do you think Aaron Judge would do in like a different type of ballpark? Because like it is known that Yankee Stadium is very favorable in right center for like home run pop. Like there's been players who have benefited from that, like maybe like players like Didi Gregorius. Judge is interesting because Judge will show off like the occasional 400 plus bomb. It doesn't matter where he is, but I just wonder how many kind of were not, I guess, gimmies, but like home runs just in Yankee Stadium. But like it helps to play there, especially with his approach. Like typically it's harder for righties, but Judge has such good oppo power that he really thrives in that environment. Do we think if he played somewhere maybe less conducive to like fly balls, maybe, I don't know, the Coliseum or something, would that really diminish very much of it? Or is it because he plays on like such a good team already and then he plays in a plus ballpark as well? How much do you guys think adds to like just the situation he is in?
I mean, it'd be interesting to see how many, because I know there's this stat that's like, this would be a home run in whatever ballpark you're at, to see how many like cheap ones he gets from being in New York. But I mean, pretty much every home run I see from Aaron Judge, like he smacks the hell out of the ball, like there's no doubt about it.
Has legit power.
So it's definitely, and it's also like it's curious whether he would change his approach if he was in a different ballpark, where he wouldn't try to go opposite as much and just try to become a pull hitter. When he like, but it's also like how much of it is he playing to that field, and how much of it is like that's just what his swing is, and so it just works out that he's there. It's kind of that's I think you probably won't find out unless he goes to another team down the road and see if he changes his swing and what the results would be.
I honestly think is if he was like, say he got traded, whatever, or just on a different team, say he was on like just like an average team or something, or not someone that has like all that power with like behind him or in front of him, wherever Stanton is, and they have a lot of good power on that team. But I think his numbers would drop, but I don't think they would drop because of the ballpark. I think they would drop because of the lineup. Because Judge does have solid power. Like, with going oppo, and he's really good with like spraying the ball, whatever. So I don't feel like it would drop because of that. I think it would drop more. Well, I think you would see his intentional walks go up just because they would be able to pitch around him a lot more. And like just things like that, or even like his regular walks, because there's like people, or like there's a lot of times players will get pitched to, but like really they're just looking for the batter to make a mistake or swing something that's like a crappy pitch and get him to ground out or something like that. A lot of times just end up getting walked anyways. So like both his walks and intentional walks, I think if that were the situation, would go up a lot. Obviously you'd still put up great numbers, but I think that's more the situation where you'd see his numbers dip more compared to like just being in a different ballpark more often.
And we do see like a rookie come up and just absolutely like pop off for like a half or maybe a month or two and stuff. And then we see the league kind of adjust to that hitter and like start to exploit more weaknesses, whether it's starting to throw more curveballs rather than fastballs. And they just learn how to get like the hitter out, and then the hitter has forced to adjust. Have you noticed any that happening to Judge over your time watching Aaron Judge, Pete? Like, have you seen the league start to like, I know he did have a really high strikeout rate at some point, but do you still feel like he was such a presence, like as a threat as he was his first year, as in the times he has been up? Or do you think it's been more health related where maybe he's underperformed or anything like that?
I feel like he's definitely a streak hitter. Like once he gets the field, and can hit to like pretty much any zone anywhere. But like you did mention, he does have a strikeout issue. But I feel like a lot of that's like as he's getting back, and then like he'll get going and get hurt again and have to build back up, is what I've experienced, at least watching him. And I don't have like the stats to back that up. But
I was just kind of a general vibe.
Yeah, that's what I would just say. He definitely, like, they've found some weaknesses where he's gonna chase off speed pitches in the bottom of the zone. That he's just, he's 6'7", he's not gonna reach those, but
disadvantage
he can't.
For sure.
He's not really. He can't hold up versus them. Him and Sand kind of have that same issue, which maybe it is just they're so big that it's like they got to go for it, or they think they got to go for it, because like he swings. I remember last year he swung at a lot of pitches out of the strike zone. So I feel like if he gets a handle on what his like the strike zone is, then because I feel like he could, because his rookie year he was really close to being a 300 hitter with 50 home runs. And so I feel like if he gets a better feel of the strike zone by being healthy all the time, then I think, a 290, maybe 300 hitter with, depending on how many games, 25 to 30 home runs this year, like that is absolutely within reach for him.
Cool.
So I because he has obviously that weakness, but I think that's a pretty fixable weakness.
Yeah.
That he has in his swing. So like you said, the league adjusts to him, and now it's his turn to adjust back to the league.
Yeah, I just hope he doesn't try to like start dialing it back. I don't think strikeouts are really a bad thing. Like, it's a strikeout. The pitcher won the battle, but it doesn't really result into like a double play. Doesn't make for any like, I don't know. I'd rather have somebody like Judge just keep your same approach. If you hit a home run, like 5 home runs in this shortened season on 2 strike counts, that's absolutely what we want because it has the best impact to change the odds of winning our game. But I think we'll kind of wrap that 4-man discussion. I really would like to jump into Simeon and Lindor more, but I think just those two to see if like who kind of finishes above the other player is just an interesting race in of itself as just short AL shortstops. I don't know who else might be in that discussion. Torres is probably could be in that discussion. There's an argument to be had with Torres's offensive ability and if he plays the shortstop position enough to qualify for that.
Torres will absolutely be the best shortstop in baseball this year.
But I think Simmons is a great shortstop as well. But what do you want to say, Kasey?
I want to say my dark horse.
Yeah, you want to go ahead?
So
Soft,
I had some paper written down, right? I had some
Paper
stats
written
for
down?
I had some paper. I had some
shit. How do you manage that?
right?
How do you manage writing down paper?
You shut your whore mouth, Jrob. I had some stats written on some paper, right? All right. About the guy, Joey Gallo, great player. But you know what? We're going off ball. My man, Tim Anderson. Give the man the hardware. He flips that bat with so much aggression. Holy shit. That man gets in so many tussles. He has so much bad blood. But this man is hitting 167 hits a year, 32 doubles, 18 home runs, 17 stolen bases. He has a batting average of 335. That's higher than Lindor's. Slugging of 508. OPS 865. Fielding 951. Give the man the MVP out in the South Side. He flips that bat and you all get scared. Timmy, you need it, my guy. Get out there.
Since when did we start giving AL MVP to people who do good bat flips and getting a lot of tussles? That's my question.
It's
I got the
Casey's
stats
dark
to prove it
horse.
up. I got the stats to prove it, Jrob. What do you want to talk about, huh? Average? 335. That's higher than any Cardinal player.
Bat flip.
335. Higher than any Cardinals player. Yeah, I said what I said. I mean it.
Yeah, I just okay.
J-Rob, you want to give us your dark horse?
Yeah. So, more I was looking into this, is more I was like, well, maybe he's not so much a dark horse. I mean, it's a good player, but
Tim
I don't know.
Anderson?
He's kind of on the border.
Just gonna probably pick Mike Trout.
Okay. I actually
dark horse
picked
means.
Josh Donaldson.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
I loved his hair last year. Oh my goodness, dude. Locks of love. Are you kidding me? But he played really well. He actually didn't have a great first half, but he actually pulled through, and his second half was super good. He finished the season with 37 home runs. He had 94 RBIs, 100 walks, and his average was 259. So obviously not the best, but I think he just played super well with Atlanta, and especially at the end of the year, he was just more and more like coming into himself, and he played pretty well. Well, I actually think he played pretty poorly in the playoffs, if I remember right. We kicked their trash, but go Birds. I don't know. I think Josh Donaldson as well, now being on the Twins, that I think there's just more around him, that the pitchers are going to have to pitch to him a little bit more. Not that they necessarily pitched around him a lot, but 100 walks is a lot of walks. And so just, I don't know. I think he's just going to get more, pitches to hit, and they're going to be trying to pitch around him, but have to pitch to him more instead of pitching around. And so I think he could, if he has a career year obviously and stands out, I think he can make some noise, but I don't know. It'd have to be a lot of noise. It'd be a freaking earthquake and then a tsunami for him to win the AL MVP.
Well, no, he's done it before, so it's not as crazy to me, but I think the thing that stuck out to me that you kind of went over is he has more around him this year, and what I immediately thought was no, that's wrong. He had Freddie Freeman and Ronald Acuna with the Braves, but it wasn't around him, which goes to exactly what you were saying. The Twins lineup might be more featured around Josh Donaldson himself. He might be that 3-hitter rather than the guy who's protecting. And so then he has Jorge Polanco over 300 hitter who's much better than Tim Anderson, one of a much better dark horse candidate to suggest.
Whoa, hey. Don't you dare say that. He's listening.
Yeah.
Another thing is, well, I mean, Josh Donaldson, he's 34. So, I mean, he's obviously getting up there in age as well. So that's another factor to, like, I think going against him. Obviously, if you're still putting up numbers, it doesn't matter how old you are.
No.
Got out Tom Brady, even though I don't like him. But, I mean, things like that. So, but that is also another potential factor.
Yeah, there's a great collection of batters in and around him, and if I don't know if the Twins win like not 110 games, it's a short season. Never mind. But theoretically, a full season.
They win 35.
Yeah, theoretically, if they had put over like 110 win season or something and threatened like the all-time season wins, like it's hard not to look at a Twins and be like, okay, who's the MVP choice from here? And maybe it is Donaldson because his bat is just insane. It'll be interesting to watch him, seeing how much he can't get over the right field wall and he just wall bangs that right field wall in target field because he loves to go the other way to right center and puts balls out that way. He's similar in Judge in that fashion. But we'll go ahead and move on to Pete and hear who his dark horse is.
All right, my dark horse plays for the Los Angeles Angels, and he is Shohei Ohtani. And for people that don't know, he's coming back from Tommy John surgery last year, but they are planning to pitch him again this year. So can you imagine, you have a starting pitcher win you 10 plus games in the shortened season, and he's hitting 300 at the plate? You're telling me that's not the MVP of baseball? If he's out here
10 wins,
winning you games as a pitcher, I mean, depending on if he's among the league leader in wins, because he's a damn better pitcher than Jack Flaherty, who had a good 2 months, and Cardinals fans who don't understand baseball think that means he's a freaking great dominant pitcher because he had 2 good months of a season. Super impressive. Jrob has 2 good hours at work, and nobody thinks he's a good employee.
Oh, shots fired.
better than none, Pete.
Yeah, I don't put in work. But, so yeah, he, power hitter, hits pretty decent average, and he's out there being a starting pitcher, eating up innings with, pretty good advanced stats across the board in that category as well. I feel like it'd be really hard to not vote for him when he's combining pitching and offense on a level that nobody else can reach.
I think the only way he wins AL MVP over Mike Trout, and again, this is dark horse, so I think that is a good pick, but is like the Angels would have to make the playoffs, like do well, and then obviously him being a big part of it as well. But I don't think, I don't know, even like shortened season, long season doesn't matter. I don't know, over Mike Trout again. Obviously, he's the best, I think he's the best player in the league right now. You have to put on a hell of a show, and obviously doing it from both sides of the plate, or pitching and hitting, only helps his case. But I think he has to bring something to the Angels as well,
and
to be able to make that.
I think it goes exactly to what you're saying, Jrob. I think it probably does mean they have to get over into the playoffs. But that's the thing the Angels are lacking. Maybe he just does a little bit better what he's done offensively, but if he can be the ace that the Angels just haven't had in years, and it's in the shortened season where a freaking a great start is way more impactful in the win-loss category rather than a pitcher like Mike Leake or somebody where it's just the innings eater type of person. Those guys aren't good. Their starts aren't going to be as impactful as the high strikeout guys who could just go out and flat out get you the win because they shut down the other team. I could see that in that sense. He's the person that is the saving grace for that rotation and gets him into the playoffs and maybe a little bit further. But that matters in the MVP race. Yeah,
I feel like Mike Trout is one of the only players that you could say wins the MVP with their team not having a good season. Just because Mike Trout's that good.
Yeah.
And that's what we've gotten from the Angels consistently, or for the last however many years. And then now, you're getting another player from there that you're going to call the MVP, but the Angels are still in the same spot. I think
they did add Rendon though, so there's a chance the Angels could be a pretty good team this year.
Yeah, I think the
think
only
they will
question
be.
is pitching. I think the offense is there with just Trout and Rendon. You could put whoever the heck else you wanted. If those two are hitting 3-4 or 2-3 or whatever it is, that's going to win you games.
Yeah.
And then you put
a hell of a
Justin up
lineup with just two people.
Yeah. But yeah, I like that one a lot. I think it's a really fun one to watch, potentially as well. Hopefully he's been working up his arm strength with all this time off, and we really get to see him throw the ball, because the few starts he did have were really impressive. I guess I'm the last one. Mine comes up from the White Sox as well, but is actually a dark horse MVP candidate, not a dark horse to maybe make an all-star team. It is Yoan Moncada.
How's his bat flip game?
His bat flip game it's not better than Tim Anderson's. I'll give Tim Anderson that. But it's Yoan Moncada. He has been a personal favorite player of mine for a long time now, since he was kind of signed out of Cuba by the Red Sox. He kind of became one of the top prospects right away, right off the bat, just off of what his tools were. He had speed. He had the arm, he had the power, so it was a lot to dream on with this guy. And I remember going to the Futures game in San Diego, and he won the MVP that year, and I can still remember very vividly his home run to the screaming line drive into the second deck in Petco Park, and I was just like, that's insane. That's like MLB ready right now. So he's been a personal favorite of mine. Last year was the year where a lot of stuff actualized for him, and he took a step forward and put together a really solid campaign. For him, he thrives with exit velocity and his expecting batting average, which really likes exit velocity as well. Hard hit percentage, he's in the top 92, or he's 92 percentile. Barrel percentage, he's 84th percentile. Where he's really, really struggling right now is his K percentage and his whiff percentage. It's 14th percentile, 15th percentile, really, really low there. But kind of again to what I sort of mentioned with Judge, I don't think striking out necessarily is a bad thing. If you think about whiff rate and you're a really high whiff rate can be really bad for the hitter, they can strike out more. But if they're swinging and missing on pitches outside of the zone, would you rather have the hitter just get it off the end of the bat and just put in maybe a dribbler that might get through the hole or something like that, or go against a shift? Or do you guys want him to swing and miss at it just so he can kind of get another pitch to maybe swing at and actually do some protectful damage on? So I think that's kind of the case that happened with him last year, is that he maybe missed out a lot of things, but he still saw more pitches because of it potentially. But overall, he's still a guy that I think pretty much every pitcher is going to attack, because he does have that high whiff rate. And so you do kind of fear him, but if you think you can strike him out 5 out of 6 times, I think you're going to go right at him as a pitcher. So that's his biggest weakness by far. He's a switch hitter. As a left-handed batter, he's first class. He's one of the best lefties in the game. He's incredible. And it's his right-handedness that kind of hurts him. Last year was the first year he was a little bit above average, and that's why he kind of put together a more complete season. So for him to really take the next step forward, it's his production from the right side of the plate when he's swinging against lefties. Right now, so just to break this down, what I'm about to say is baseball likes to break down for StatCast. This is something you can go see on Baseball Savant, which is where all the StatCast stuff, a great site to go explore and learn a bunch of stuff that you don't really hear about too much. But so for the strike zone, in the middle of the strike zone, that's called the heart of the heart. That's the heart of the plate, heart of the zone. That's where pitchers don't want to throw the ball, and that's where hitters want to hit the ball. That's where the most damage is done. The next thing is called the shadow zone. So it's the stuff that borders the strike zone and just outside the strike zone. So it's the shadow zone, meaning it's kind of almost a 50-50 ball. It's it could be called a strike. It could also be called a ball, because there's the human element, and it's still balls and strikes are called from a human being, and they can miss some calls. So that's called the shadow zone. The next zone outside of that, which is definitely outside of the zone is called the chase zone. So that's where pitchers really want pitchers to swing at, because it's a really low risk for that pitcher to throw that pitch. And if they generate a swing, it's either going to be a swing and miss, or it's going to induce a lot of weak contact. So that's where a lot of pitchers like to attack, maybe with like 2 strikes. It's really like where they like to get the guy out and stuff like that. And then outside of that, it's called a waste pitch. It's very far outside of the zone. It's like the guy absolutely yanked it, he threw it straight in the ground, or like the fastball slipped out of the guy's hand and it kind of took off. And those are kind of waste pitches. So those are the main zones. And if you go look at on Baseball Savant, you can it shows down how each player does. It weighs 2 things. It shows how much runs they generate by the balls that they take, and that the balls that they swing at. So like what they're producing by taking and swinging. So a lot of players do really well in the heart of the zone. Somewhere where like Trout really excels is the chase zone. So the zone that's outside of the strike zone and just outside of the shadow zone. Trout swings like 11% less than league average at those pitches. So he's limiting, he's not chasing very many balls outside of the strike zone, and he's like really committing his swing to pitches that can be damaged. He can put a hurt on the ball a lot. And that zone, that chase zone, is where I think Moncada can step forward as a right-handed batter. And if he can start to limit his swings on those pitches and starts to tighten it up, I think he could have a real chance to step forward. The other key thing I'll say about Moncada and his chance of taking the next step and potentially being one of the best AL third basemen is where he hits in that lineup. He had a weird year where he was hitting second, he was hitting third, then he would hit fifth behind Jose Abreu and James McCann, some of the two slowest dogs. And he's he's an above average runner, which is kind of strange, but as a person who owned him on fantasy, I didn't like that. I'd rather have him be 2 or 3 where he's in the thick of everything on scoring the run or driving in the run. But I think him as a 2 or 3 hitter in the White Sox lineup is very, very interesting. Like Kasey's example of maybe if you lead off with Lurie Garcia or Tim Anderson, somebody who can get on base 33% or more of the time. Then you go to Yoan Moncada right after, who's a nice switch hitter. Piece right there. He can run the bases. He's a threat on the bases as well. He doesn't steal as much, but he's an aggressive runner and he can really get going. But then if you look at the people right after him, this is where I think he'll get help from the chase zone, is because they'll start to throw more pitches in the shadow zone and start to challenge Moncada rather than kind of pitch around him. It's because they'll have hitters like Jose Abreu, Eloy Jimenez, and then they have Luis Roberts, I believe, and he's their top prospect who just signed a major league extension with the club, but he has the best bat in the minors as of last year, and he's ready to come up as well. So they have legit threatening offensive bats right behind, and they could go 2 or 3 deep if one gets hurt, but it's just, I think he could be the cog that really makes them go and potentially push that White Sox team to consecutive playoff runs for the next 4 years potentially. Maybe it's not this year, but maybe 2021 is really where we see, they took a step forward and stuff. But offensively, that team really, really, really excites me, and that's who I like for a dark horse.
I think I've heard a lot of good stuff about the White Sox, just the moves they're making and everything they're doing for it. So I like that pick. And the team in general and everything, but that pick as well. And I just I don't know, solid dark horse.
So now we can talk about anything else. If you guys have any questions, maybe about StatCast thing, or maybe a little bit more about the numbers on my guys, I have a little bit more that I can share that I've researched. But we won't really get into Tim Anderson. I don't think that's much of a discussion there.
Whoa, hey.
I'm kidding. Kasey, who do you like out of the dark horses, or maybe just of some of the main proposals for AL MVP? We haven't heard from you much.
For the dark horse, I do like Shohei Ohtani. I think if Shohei could really put up numbers and pitch well, if you can get around 12, 13 wins and have an average of 300, there's no way you don't give it to Shohei Ohtani. I think that's a good dark horse. I gotta stick with. I like Lindor, but I also like Marcus Semien too. I think that's a really solid pick. Being in Oakland, they don't really get. It's kind of like Seattle. They don't get a lot of attention out there. But that's kind of I'm digging those.
Nice. What about you, Jrob? Jrob, what about you?
All right, what'd you say?
I just want to know how
my mic's
you
going in.
just thoughts on some of the dark horse suggestions and like overall on the AL MVP discussion that we've had.
I do like Otani a lot as well. Just with like I don't know. I think why I like that, or that's the one I'm most excited to see. Like regardless of AL MVP, I think honestly Shohei Otani is one of the most like, exciting or people I'm looking forward to watching this year, or just seeing how he does. Just because he's the first player in forever practically to play on both sides of, again, like pitch and hit. So like, I want him to do well because I think that goes back to the point I made kind of last week when we were talking about pitchers and how they're sometimes like the most athletic people on the field. This just proves like if you actually put time into both sides, like you can do really well. Obviously not everyone's going to be a Shohei Otani, but like you could be that good or better or like somewhere up there. I don't know. I'm just excited. It's something new that baseball hasn't seen in a while, and so I think it's good for the fans as well. I wish someone else would have picked it other than Pete because Peter's, that's an average in practically every category. Sorry, Pete. Kidding. But I don't know. I think everyone had a good pick, minus who was it? Tim Anderson. I've never heard of her, but
man, y'all hating on Timmy Toothpick over here, throwing them bombs out.
I like Joey Gallo way more.
This is a dark horse. This isn't like, oh, this is actually legitimate. We're doing dark horses here.
Well, I think with dark horses as well, though, like with Otani, it's almost like, he could do it. There's just a lot of like questionable things.
Yeah.
And in not hitting on Aaron Judge, I almost feel like that's kind of the same boat. I think obviously Aaron Judge like is more likely than Otani, but just because there's so many variables like with his health, he's already gotten hurt this year and we haven't played a single game. Like, the guy gets hurt all the time. So obviously, he has raw power. Like he's super good. Got second in AL voting a couple years ago. But with him, so I just think there's a lot of question marks. And so I feel like those kind of players are more dark horses. Obviously, anyone can get hurt at any time, but I don't know.
Cool. Pete, what about you? I think you're muted. You're good.
I can hear.
Sorry.
You can hear me?
Can you repeat it again, Pete?
So like I was saying, Aaron Judge is the second betting odds favorite to win the MVP, so that's not really what the definition of a dark horse is. And that's another thing that I forgot to bring up, but Aaron Judge is actually really good defensively as well. Like, he ranks really well. I had the stats pulled up earlier, but I got off him because we moved on from Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
He led the league in outfield assists last year, and like his zone rating, I think it's like UZR or whatever it's called. I can't remember. It's like up there as well. Yeah, so like he's also really solid defensively besides what he can bring, obviously, offensively, so that can help out. For people that, and that's the people for Mike, like Rendon, you made a really interesting case. But that's the thing, like, because with the Angels, I feel like if they do, like we mentioned, have the good year and go to the playoffs actually this year, it'll be interesting to see who gets the credit. Because obviously Mike Trout, we all can agree, is the best ball player out of all three of those guys. But, like, he's been there and they haven't really been doing that much with him. So it would be interesting to see who the media, like, gives the most credit to if they do start winning this year now with the addition of Rendon and with like if Otani has a good year, which like Jrob mentioned, it'd be really cool to like see that, and then maybe we'll have more players try to develop that way, because I think that's really cool to try to develop that way in baseball. Like, Mike Trout's a hell of an athlete. I feel like he has a great arm too. Like, if he tried to be a pitcher and a hitter, like, obviously now it's a little late in his career, but like, just down the pipeline, if there's more of that, because of if Otani does good, that would be pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it'd just be tricky to solve, like, developmentally wise, like, to get the guy enough at bats still, but also get like the innings and pitches thrown, but then give him the rest. But then it's like, okay, but you still have to hit, so you're gonna DH, I guess. But we need you to get reps in the field as well. It would be a lot, really fun to see a lot more two-way players, but I think it'd be tricky developmentally.
All right, boys, I got a fun fact for y'all since we're kind of wrapping that up.
Yeah.
So this day last year.
Tim Anderson.
No, it's not about Tim Anderson. We're moving on from Tim Anderson. Last year at this date, one of us was very happy. The other two, not so much. The other one it could have been happy, but it wasn't. So we're gonna start off with St. Louis lost to the Mets, 8-7. Ooh, tough scene.
It's embarrassing. 8 runs to the Mets. Hello.
The Yankees won that day, 8-4 against Tim Anderson's White Sox. I bet Anderson went yard though and threw that bat probably.
Of course.
This is where it starts to get real depressing. So Jake, you lost to Colorado, Jake, 14-8.
Oh man.
But it gets worse. It gets worse. The M's, my beloved M's, lost 2-11 to the A's. So
Shocked they got those two, honestly. Good job.
Yeah, me too. They had 3 errors in the game.
In all those matchups. I think there was 8 runs in every one.
That was a big offensive day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 3 of you guys, not so much for me.
Well,
But the M's did have 3 errors, so don't you think it was all offense? We just played shitty around.
It's honestly almost impossible. It's not impossible. It's almost impossible to give up 11 runs on 3 errors. Just saying.
Well, I mean, they did it, so.
Well, my point is they scored on more than just those errors.
Yeah, well, the Mariners are ass last year. Jrob, what else do you want me to say?
I wasn't going to say it. I was going to say it, so I'm glad you did.
Thank you. Go M's.
all right. Well, if there's no other last words, I think we'll just wrap for this episode. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening to episode 5 of Shaggin Balls. We hope you enjoyed the hat. Talking about sharing some of our favorite hats.
Cincinnati Reds legend Ken Griffey Jr.
Kasey was showing off the card. Ken Griffey and Mariner card, and he just gave him the bird. Very nice. Share with some of us what are your favorite dark horse AL MVP candidates are. What you like from our AL MVP candidates. If you support the bat flipping dark horse and Tim Anderson, you can tweet at us at Shaggin Balls PC, or you guys can send us emails about some things you want to maybe point out that we totally screwed up, but we were not going to correct ourselves anyway, so don't bother. But send some questions our way, and we'll definitely be answering those on the podcast when those come through. But from all of us,
go M's. Go M's.
Yankees are the very greatest. Oh.
I think one super quick thing as well to point out, if people as well want to tweet at us or like email us, whatever, what they think their NL MVP would be or who they think it would be, just because that's another discussion that we'll probably have in the future. So
yeah, absolutely. Start stirring the pot. Some NL MVP. Send it who the best bat flipper is to Kasey, and that's who he'll pick for his dark horse, guaranteed. Start sending some clips to him. But thanks, guys, for joining. Goodbye, Internet.